Right, welcome back. Another full day of masking done here, so I'll show you that. Hoping to spray now tomorrow morning. Everything's done. A lot of masking in a two-tone paint job. A lot of masking, especially since I'm doing all the door shots and everything as well. So let's take a look. Right, so we've got a lot of masking done here today. Everything is pretty much taped up now. I got another bit of paint. I'm going to redo the boot lid and this one section here as well before I untape the whole van. Yeah, a lot of taping. Doors, sliding doors set up upside down. Other doors hung up. Don't like painting the doors and stuff lying flat because you get a lot of dust landing on them and overspray landing on them. You get a much nicer finish on them when they're upright. The blue tape is just for it's edging, so you get a clean edge without paint running under it. And I need to, you can see there, so now on the where the white runs down, and that green masking tape is actually really nice, but you don't want that going on. So going to feather out all that line with some fine sandpaper, and yeah, be ready to spray that then tomorrow morning. But I can't get over just how long it's taken to tape it all. But then I am doing, you know, two-tone door shots, etc. And I've taped this to that edge, but what I'm going to do after is tape it out again, and I'm just going to black out everything inside those grills. Now, because of some of the issues with that aerosol primer on the other thing, I'm going to go over this again with this primer, but I'm going to spray it wet on wet. So I'm going to spray that, then get ready and straight away and paint straight over it. I don't like doing that on the whole thing because you get any dust or anything you get in your primer, and then you spray over the top of it. If you want to compound or color sand it back out, you end up with this little grey thing of anything that got into your undercoat. So that'll come through then when you're trying to color sand. So, but I don't trust that stuff to leave it like that, and I don't want reactions all over the van. So I'm just going to go over it with a good primer. So I'm about done with it for today. The only thing I need to tape up is just a bit across the front splitter. But yeah, so I'll leave it at that. I'm going to sand out that line, and then tomorrow afternoon when I get back, I'm going to lash on with the other paint. So that's up next. Oh, one other realization I had is this plastic, and like I was saying in the last video about paint flaking off of it. That's the little paint kits you get from Lidl's or Aldi or somewhere. Very good, they're about £5, but you get lots of different things in them, big plastic sheets and stuff. But one thing I realised is that this is an expensive roll I bought yesterday, about €11 a roll from the paint supplies place. But it's textured, and the paint really sticks into it, so it doesn't flake off and cause that problem. So it's good to know. Right, spot primer's done. Here we go. I can't do this with you here.
Okay, look, I'll go.
Yeah, sure.
Go.
Right, so a couple hours later, I actually took 4 coats to cover that, and it was quite thin paint. So yeah, gave 4 coats in total. It's been drying now for the last couple of hours, so gonna unmask it. Have a look. Right, so let's take a look. Yeah, like I was saying, I had to put on 4 coats in the end. I actually ran out of paint and I had to do a quick dash to town to get some. But while there was that happening, I had a bit of a run on this door, and that actually dried enough that I was able to wet sand it out for the last couple of coats. It wasn't absolutely perfect, but pretty good. Real happy with the colour now. It does look. We were kind of looking for a mustardy colour, and now that you see it against the white, it looks a bit less yellow. And the finish is actually quite nice. The first coat, it's not a perfectly flat finish. The first coat went on completely flat, really nice. But when I had to add so many coats, it just built up. But still, and that line tape actually does give a really nice clean line. A little bit of overspray through there, but actually the tape is still in there. Yeah, the door shut like that. In the front, like I said, I'll mask that off after and just black out around all the lights and stuff completely. But so happy to have that done now. You know, it's the last of those massive jobs that have to be done. Just have to carefully reassemble it now. But that's a job for another day. Right, so back out at it this morning, just sticking a few bits and pieces back on. It's nice. You know, it's not horrible work to do. No real pressure on to get stuff done with it either at the moment. So yeah, I have to order a few bits and pieces later. I need a couple of door seal, a window winder, and a few bits like that. And I also need to order. I can't think now. But yeah, I'll give you a look at it. I'm just sticking pieces back on. I didn't bother actually filming much of it. Just stuck the 2 doors back on and putting the bits and pieces back on the inside of them. So yeah, we'll just take a quick little look again now that it's all dry and everything in here. So going to do that sliding door next probably. Just took the stuff out of the windows, and that filler is just put in there out of the way for now. Yeah, getting the door cards put on. I need to get a speaker for that door actually. And that window winder is not great. I gave the door cards a bit of a clean. There, I must get some sealant, put the ladder back on, stick the transporter badge back on, and I don't know, we might leave that Volkswagen badge to last. That's kind of how it goes, isn't it? So, sliding door seal, I should probably put that in before putting the sliding door on, I would imagine. That door is not bad. It's nice, it's lovely. It's also clean. Not rusty and disgusting, actually clean. Those bits of matte, it's kind of a foamy stuff on the back. I might have to put something under them. They seem a little bit, you know, just a bit kind of thin and flat when they're like that. I might lay the cab mat back in as well. I need to find the position to cut a hole there for the table leg and properly cut that hole out for the handbrake as well. Not that I particularly want to go cutting anything, to be honest, but it's got to be done. I get that water tank put back in later as well. But yeah, we're pleased. The colour is nice. It looked, we were going for kind of a mustardy colour. The idea with the top colour is that's not the van's colour code, but we were trying to get it as close to the roof as we could because that gel coat's still quite good on that, and that roof will polish up quite nicely. So I think when that roof gets a polish, yeah, it will match reasonably well. I don't want to go painting the fiberglass if I don't have to. So yeah, it's coming along. Oh, the boot strap failed just as I was spraying it as well, which is why I was trying to hold the boot lid up, so I've got to order a boot strap as well. Now, I generally detest fitting door seals, unless they're original ones. They never really fit right, and they just don't ever want to stay on. I hate doing it. But that one, as they go, wasn't too bad. Probably a bad sign when you're pulling all bits of bodywork off the back of the seal though. Those ones need a glue of some sort, so I must look into that before I put those on. But yeah, sliding door one on anyway. Another thing I completely forgot to show was that I used that black stone chip along the bottom there, and my intention was to paint over it, but when it came to it I kind of decided that I liked it the way it was rather than having chipped yellow paint. Decided I'd leave the black strip there, and it's easy, it can be touched up and kept an eye on or whatever. It's only coming up a little, you know, I didn't want to bring it way up, it's only just coming up to there, but to be honest, around here it's just going to be buried in cow shit all the time, unfortunately. So it's just the way it is. So that's the water tank, just before I go refitting it. I didn't realise they were purpose-built tanks. They have all those recesses in them to coincide with all the matching lumps and bumps in there, and presumably at the right angle and everything. But yeah, decent tank. I assume they would have just used some generic tank, but must be about 15 gallon at least. So yeah, be a bit of weight in that when it's full. Now I put the sliding door back on. When I welded up all this, I never left a gate for the roller to come out when you push it all the way back. There is a rubber block to go in here, which kind of a bump stop. But I managed to get this in without that gate. But yours would have, if you have to take your sliding door, your bottom roller off, there'd be a little gate here for this to come out. Then what I found when I put it on is that the door was sitting too high. So obviously as this rotted out and started to sag down, this bracket here is adjustable, and that so I had to slide the door back down in this because it was sitting too high at the front. As for the upper one, that's easy enough, it just goes up into the track. But this back one, as these come forward, once they reach this point here, you see they start to pivot. I've seen one break some casting here. I can't remember where it is. I can't really identify it on this one. But it broke, and what happens then is your door was able to snap in too soon and scrape all the way up the panel, which is pretty nasty. So if that hinge isn't staying out as long as it should do, actually it must have been on this roller in here, the casting, it must have been broken because that wheel goes in around the corner in there to allow that to pivot in. Now, as you can see, there's a roller missing off of that one, which is basically allowing this to pivot in a little bit too soon. So just down in that gap, you can see it comes in against the seal a little too soon. So I need to just replace that roller. I've given that track as much of a clean out as I could. I mean, I know everyone piles grease onto them. I mean, grease isn't nice stuff. It attracts a lot of dirt. I wouldn't be against using grease on it, but just make sure that whenever you're adding more, that you clean out the track and get rid of all the old stuff. Same on the bottom, because all that grime and dirt that sticks into the grease will do more harm than good, really. I do love seeing all those clean, shiny door shots. I was trying to find my front indicators, going, where did I put those? Starlings had camouflaged them for me. So I'll give those a wash. Alright, this is about as nice as this work gets, really. Just tipping away, backlights in, tow bar painted, door handles, painted them, a bit of that tough paint, both back on, stuck the rubber floor mat in. All this stuff looks so nice before when the van was crap. Now it all looks a little bit grubby, but those mats actually had carpet glued over it before and corner trims on it. What else was doing? Painted, oh yeah, front indicators, and I taped all that up and blacked out everything inside those grills with that spray can stone chip, just to keep it all nice and protect the frames of the headlamps and stuff a bit like that as well. So now I'm just going to stick the front grills in. That's it. Has a bit of a face again now anyway. Now I'm just going to paint that edge around the windscreen. You can just see where I just taped to that seam when I was painting it. So I need to just go around that, brush paint it and have it ready so I can put the windscreen in the next day. Yeah, I'll wrap that video up with that. I'll keep it kind of short. Just get to see it painted anyway, and more of the same. Next one will probably be putting windows in, putting the windscreen in, and starting on getting some of that interior stuff back together. I'm also going to go look at some engines tomorrow, and hopefully we'll make some progress on that side of things too. So I'm going to go order a bunch of parts now as well for various bits and pieces around. So I'll leave it at that. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow us on Instagram. It's called the T25 Project. And click the like button if you can as well, please. So, thank you very much, and speak to you next time. Cheers.